My name is Senna Amoura-Patterson, and I actually work in two different areas. I teach English and speech and film courses. And the areas that I teach in are English and then humanities. I've been here full-time 21 years, and I was here part-time probably about 3 years before that. I was working on a degree in social work, and I taught elementary school for a little bit, and I did a little bit of social work, macro social work kind of work before, but mostly teaching. I've been a teacher for a long time. I am originally from Omaha. My parents are both Palestinian and immigrated to the United States probably in the mid-50s. But I grew up in Omaha. I went to Westside High School, and then I went to UNO. And I have a degree in elementary education. And then I got certified to teach secondary too in English, so I got a little more English background. And then I went back to school and got a master's degree in English. And then later, while I was working part-time here, I got a master's degree in social work. And then probably about, I'm thinking maybe 6, 7 years ago, I finally finished my PhD at UNL in mostly creative writing courses. You know, I've had so many favorite teachers, it's hard for me to think of one in particular. But I definitely, you know, I think there's so many, I love going to school still. I still take classes when I can. And I think there's just, my favorite style of teacher is one who probably does a little more, I don't know, more discussion, more group work, and really cares. So probably my favorite classes were, you know, graduate and PhD classes because they were smaller and they're more, I don't know, you get to know those professors better and you get to know the other classmates better. But my favorite teacher that I had probably towards the end and who was on my committee at UNL was Barbara De Bernard. She taught a wonderful lesbian literature course there, and she was just so accessible and shared herself with us in a lot of ways that I really consider her a great friend now. And I don't know, I think I try to emulate that a little bit. She was a better listener than me, though. I have to work at that. But she's very good. She's awesome. You know, we have such a great English faculty that I feel like that mentoring, it's like one of those great relationships that goes back and forth where I think we mentor people and then they mentor us at the same time. And so I've had a lot of people, I mean, when I first was hired here, Pat Smith mentored me, and it was awesome, and she was really helpful. But I find like I still learn a lot from sometimes the newest teachers that we hire because maybe they've been out in the field or they've tried something different. I've learned a lot by working in the writing center. They do a great job, and I get to see what other faculty do, and I get to talk to other faculty. So I've learned a lot from everyone here. When I was a kid, I remember my siblings, older siblings, going off to school, and I would like pack up a backpack and go in the backyard and pretend I was going to school and then teach my, you know, stuffed animals or whatever else. So I have always loved teaching. I think that is, and I do think there are people that are just born teachers. I think some people really love it, and I can't remember a time when I didn't love it. I still like doing, you know, Girl Scouts or things like that with kids. I've always enjoyed that. Metro's a good fit for me because I think because of my social work background, and that's maybe another passion of mine. I like volunteering, I like doing things like that. That was a good fit for me. I think I believe in social justice and community and grassroots organizing, and this was just a place where I got to get such amazing diversity. And I absolutely love it. There's no place else I would choose in Omaha to work. I like a classroom that is very fluid, that encourages a lot of direct participation. I encourage them, and I make myself pretty vulnerable in the classroom. And my expectation is that they will feel safe enough to do that as well, and therefore get more from the material, whether it's film or a short story or a speech that they're writing. I want them to feel safe and see that that's powerful and not to be so guarded. So I think what makes me most distinctive is that vulnerability piece. Besides caffeine, what gets me going in the morning? I do not, and I always tell my kids, I have 2 kids, and I always remind them, you want to find a job that you don't dread. You don't dread Sunday night or Monday morning or whatever. And they see that. I do enjoy coming to work. I enjoy the people that I'm going to see here. I enjoy the students I get to work with one-on-one in the Writing Center. And I get excited about things that we're going to talk about and share in class. I get excited to share a movie that I think is going to really, maybe they're not going to like, but that might spark something in them or get them excited about that. So that is what really, that's what I said. I think teaching is a pretty good fit for me. I hope that they walk out of there really feeling that someone cared about them, and that was a genuine place for them, that they could still come back and take more classes. And I have students I run into a lot that will still say, oh, you know what, remember when we had that great discussion or something? And I'm like, oh, I feel so good. That's, you know, I may not remember that discussion, but something resonated with them. Really, that I was accessible, that I encouraged them and listened and encouraged that debate. You know, I just had my annual evaluation thing, and I was visiting with Chuck this morning. And I said, you know, I know a lot of instructors, and I told him this, I said, I share what I am politically, usually with the classes, and I'm pretty direct. I said, because I think it's important. I said, it's not that I want students to feel like they have to conform to my idea, but I want them to know that they could have a honest discourse, a respectful discourse with someone who doesn't agree with them. And I want them, you know, so I've had students that are like, I didn't agree with you on anything in class, but I still felt you were fair. And that, to me, is important, because it's like, I live in Omaha, Nebraska. If I was waiting for only be friends with people who shared my political, you know, ideology, I would be pretty lonely probably. I want people to feel like you can disagree and still have a lot of respect for each other, and I hope that they walk out of there knowing that I respected them and that they had a valid opinion, and I encouraged them to share it, and I shared mine too. And that we did it in a way that was mutually respectful. Well, I do have a 15-year-old and a 19-year-old, so maybe the challenge is always keeping them engaged and excited about learning, and not feeling disheartened or feeling like grades have to be everything. And I find myself having that conversation with my kids a lot. Like, you know, they're more upset when they have a bad grade, and I'm like, did you learn something from it? All right, I want you to like going to school more than I care about that you got a grade or a scholarship or whatever. I mean, those are really nice things, and I want that for my kids, but I find myself having that discussion with a lot of, even my own siblings, who are like, I can't believe as a person who loves school so much that you don't push this harder. And I'm like, I don't know. I want them to kind of love it. So the challenge is maybe, you know, finding the balance to encouraging them to do well, but to not make myself crazy over it or make them crazy over that, and to keep them interested in going to school and wanting to go to school every day and continuing their education, so beyond high school. We're really trying to work on the creative writing program here and get that online and stuff. And I would love to be able to take a couple of classes, creative writing classes at UNO. And they have a great writer's workshop. And I've taken a couple in the past I really liked. And I would love to be able to do more of that. And I've never really branched into creative writing classes, even though I've taken a ton of them. And I would like to maybe try that sometime. I've always been too scared to do the online classes, so I haven't really done that, and I think most of those will go that way, but I'd be willing to try it for that. I'm Senna Amoura-Patterson. I am a full-time instructor who teaches speech, English, and film at Metro Community College.